Yep, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, live, Radio Free Brooklyn. It's your boy Ben Lewis, alongside Addy the Baddie, who's in here kicking knowledge.
You know, I'm a little wise or whatever.
I try to surround myself with people that are smarter than me. So
don't take credit for my intelligence.
Hence why I got Kevin and Addy on board. You know what I'm saying?
Because leave it to you to take credit.
I'm just a lowly radio personality. That's all I am.
That's okay. You provide comic relief.
That was the part where you were supposed to say, "Oh no, that's not what you are, Ben." But yeah, whatever.
Yes, I said you provide comic relief, so that's good enough. All right.
I'm a clown. That's what I am, a clown to you.
Yeah.
All right. Trending topics. We're gonna start us off with a little recap. You caught this week's episode of Power, right?
Well, immediately. As soon as it gets posted at 12 a.m. on
you almost have to, because if you go on social media,
that's that
Sunday, like it's spoiled for you.
Yep. Especially Twitter.
So one of my
Twitter on Sundays.
Oh yeah, for real. One of my biggest takeaways from Power, Ghost continues to show exactly how much of a savage that he is.
Do you think he even thinks of other people at all? Does it even cross his mind before he chooses not to think of them?
I mean,
I don't even think it does.
I feel like at this point in his life, where he's been able to move kind of selfishly, and it's all been to his benefit. I mean, look where he got to, kind of moving the way he did. So it's a little hard for him to kind of step back and think about anyone else at this point in his life. But I think he's savage for the things that he continuously asks Tasha to do.
Yeah.
Like these compromising positions that he continues to put her in.
So this week, what was it?
This week, he asked Tasha to accompany him to Angela's funeral. After he last week asked her for sympathy for losing the woman that he loved. Mind you, they're still married. Now, on this last episode, they just had their first divorce arbitration. So they're in the process of getting a divorce. And I just feel like the way the show is like the way the storylines go sometimes, something's going to happen where they have to stay married.
Yeah.
But this guy continues to be a savage and continues to ask Tasha to do things in support of this extracurricular relationship that he had going. Granted, Tasha, did her things, but they, you might say that they were in response to some of the things that Ghost did.
Right.
So I'm not putting anyone at fault, but one thing she never did was ask him to help her with her side situation.
And she's always been 100% loyal.
Yes.
As far as like to making sure to the family, right?
Yes.
Like,
even while like having her trying to move on, like from an emotional and a relationship standpoint, she's still been loyal to this guy. He continues to show his ass. Like I don't know. I can't get behind Ghost right now, man. No. Like you might say, like guys might say, I'm like being like that guy. What's that guy on Facebook that's always talking about, man? Derek Jackson. Yeah, guys might because I had this conversation at I was chilling with some of my boys on Saturday, and I had this conversation. 9 out of 10
men are trash.
Yeah, and they were like,
statistics are similar to that of
they were
white
like,
people.
nah, still team Ghost. I'm like, what? Like, he is a complete savage. I can't get behind it. I'm sorry.
The worst part of that is that like most of those guys don't have any not a rubble to their name, not a rubble to their name, and they see themselves as ghosts, and that's the problem. It's the delusions of grandeur that a lot of these men possess that make them feel like they can move this way and be completely absolved from accountability, and it's really funny, but it's actually sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Tasha's obviously loyal to the family,
yes.
And we'll touch on this when we talk about dating. There's another reason why women should be getting paid to be around men. We only add value.
Whoa.
Yes, but anyway.
But one more takeaway. I like how they're setting up for the spinoff. Because Tariq got his little business going at Choke at the school he's away from. Which
he's such a great actor too.
Yeah, he is. Michael Rainey Jr. He's very good. So they're setting him up a little bit to kind of have the spinoff and kind of be doing his thing in the drug game while he's at school. And it looks like he might have found himself his own Tasha, so to speak.
I think so.
Yeah, that girl. I thought she had a stronger head on her shoulders than what she showed. I wish they gave her like two. They made her like think about it for 2 episodes.
Well, TV show edits. They got to speed shit up.
So that was like 2 weeks later, right?
Yeah, exactly. They gotta push the plot.
She slept on it. She slept on
it. She thought about it wisely and thought, you know what? I could do it better than this nigga. And I understand the feeling of
she definitely can do
knowing you could do something better than a nigga.
She definitely can. But it looks like
She went over there to enhance his operations.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I can relate.
We'll see where that goes, man. And if you didn't catch Power and you listen to the show, tough shit. I'm sorry. You just got spoiled for you.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's been more than enough time.
You got anything to add to that, or you want to go on to the next one?
I mean, I'm just so curious to see. I mean, it was really funny when Tommy appeared at the funeral.
Oh, yo, yes. I forgot about that moment.
Yes.
That was like a big, like, fuck you to Ghost.
Yes, to see Ghost so shook, and now that he can't even kill him if he wanted to, because that other Tony Montana type of
thing. Jason.
Yo, these white people are gully on this show, man.
OD, right?
I fuck with it. You see?
Yo, that side of it makes me never, like, I never thought about selling drugs.
White gangsters from Queens.
Yo, the stuff that these guys are into. This man said, I want $100,000 every 2 weeks for me to not kill you.
Okay.
I'd have looked that man in his eye and say, yo, you might as well chop my head off right now, because that's not happening. Okay.
Don't mess with these white gangsters. They have like both money, physical, and structural power. They know everybody. Like they can kill you at all.
Take away their weapons, they can still
like they got people in the feds. Like you don't know that's their family.
Yeah,
like,
exactly, man.
Don't mess with them. So
do not.
So anyway, yeah, that was in a good part, and then also I guess her sister, Angela's sister.
Yes.
Paz, I think is her name. Paz.
Yes.
Yeah, she discovered a burner phone. That,
and she did the right thing.
She did. She discovered a burner phone where it revealed that Angela was really in on things with Ghost and his family and Tasha, and she met up with Tasha and kind of threatened her that she would reveal the information to the DA, but Tasha reminded her that then you would destroy Angela's legacy. Yeah. So she buried the phone with much. Angela, which was the smartest thing.
Yes. And also Tasha, Tasha kind of demanding that Ghost, like, cause she signed a prenup. I don't know what she was thinking, why she did that.
That's the problem with us.
She signed a prenup.
I just want to just.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you go. Let me just get this thought out.
Because I just got it.
She signed a prenup, and Ghost, again, to add to his savagery from previous weeks, is like really sitting across the table from her and it's just like, well, you ain't about to get shit because you initiated a divorce. And this goes to a bigger debate where guys feel like, and I'm not a baby father. Maybe I would feel different if I was in that kind of situation where guys feel like, I just got to give you for the kids. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't necessarily like work like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. The mom has to be in a good space.
Exactly.
For children to be in a good space. Yeah. For you eventually to have to, have to be in a good space together as a family, a blended family, whatever the case is. But she really like got gully there.
How they finesse? I mean, how did he finesse that, right? Because like apparently she was in school when they met. Like she had her own situation.
I'll tell you how if you finesse it. Like, yo, this is just this is the argument that guys say now. Yeah. Marriage is forever. If we're gonna be together forever, then what's the problem? Right. Why can't you sign it? Because we're gonna be together forever, so you never have to worry about this stuff coming into play. And
until your old flick comes home.
There you go. Until she walks into your nightclub one day.
I just wanted to just quick PSA to black women particularly who love to prove loyalty on the front end of things before they love to do the writing and the dying in advance. Like, please save yourselves. Don't do that shit. There's no reason why negotiate in this particular situation.
Negotiate your prenup. Don't just sign it. If you're gonna sign one.
Yeah, because I feel like a prenup is really just an agreement, right? A prenup is an agreement. Now, that agreement doesn't mean that you don't get anything. Right. It should be an agreement that is reasonable for both parties. So I don't think that oftentimes when I see prenups and I'm like, or people don't sign prenups and they're like, I want half. Like, I don't usually agree with the half, right? I don't usually agree with that. Yeah. But I do think that there is a number. I do think that there's a reasonable number, especially in the event that the shit that this nigga put her through happens or occurs, that would make sense for both parties.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the mom mentioned that she signed that prenup. They got married at like 20 or something, like really young.
Oh, okay.
So like, I mean, you could attest to this, like, you're kind of naive at that age.
That's true. She might have thought she was gonna make the most.
Yeah,
money.
she's like, oh well, he's already making all this money in the drug game. Like, I don't see myself being with anyone else but this guy. So yeah, let me just sign and get it out the way. If it's just one small little obstacle for me to be married and have my family, like, why not? So that could have been it too. The age kind of plays into a part.
That's not good enough. Especially, you know why it's not good enough? Because it'd be one thing if she was just chilling at home, right? Just raising the kids, minding her business, not involved at all. This girl is literally cleaning the money at the laundromat. She is the integral part of the operation. You know what I mean? Like, without Tasha, the operation doesn't work out.
The drugs is the integral part of
but without no. It's not just the drugs. It's about what happens to the money, right? Because if you can sell the drugs, but then if the feds figure out the money, then what are you gonna do, right?
That's
so like,
true. And then for her to not rat all those years.
So I feel like she definitely
come on,
deserves,
girls do better.
Beyond just being if she was just the wife just chilling, she deserves money. But the fact that she also went above and beyond to like,
she actually worked. She wasn't
right.
She could, as much as she could have been the stay at home, not do nothing, just go shopping, have people, maids come and clean and cook and do all that stuff. But she was active. She was working. She was doing her thing. So I think it's kind of wrong to just leave her with nothing. Just from an emotional standpoint, like her daughter was murdered. Her daughter was murdered. What I'm saying? Like, just from an emotional standpoint, you can't like just be like, yeah, you signed this prenup, so I'm gonna leave you with nothing. Like, come on. Even if y'all work somehow outside of like the lawyers, the arbitration, whatever. But goddamn, you can't be that much of a savage. You can't be that much of a savage.
It would be in his best interest to actually just give her half of the money.
Well,
you
that's
know what
a lot.
I mean?
That's
kind of, because
now you wasn't getting bullets flying at your head.
I mean, here's my thing. Here's my thoughts. No, I mean, she's definitely earned the money. But besides that, he may go away to prison forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, just making sure that at least half of that money is safe for your family. Because if the feds catch up with him and his whole operation prior to her getting that money, like, they probably won't take it from her if the settlement was done before the indictment, right? Like, because then that money has already been set aside. That money goes. There's a more arguable case there, especially if her name doesn't get implicated in any of the crimes. But anyway, let's move on.
We'll see what comes on in next week's, man. All right, so we got what's this? He was a producer, Dallas Austin.
Yeah.
Yes. So those of you who are in the know, obviously we know Brandy and Monica has had this extremely long-standing issue with each other.
Yes, and usually what we see is Brandy will come on a show, and when asked about Monica, she'll often give or provide really snarky remarks that show that even 20 years
shit
later,
like who? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. 2 decades later, she does not know who Monica is. Whereas Monica, her whole brand is like, she's everybody's auntie. She's like the beautiful young aunt. Look, I can't even call her auntie. She looks amazing. But she's like that hood Atlanta, like down ass, like cool with all the rappers, cool with everybody from like the old generation.
Is she still with her husband?
They just split. Oh. But she's such a class act. That's the thing. She carries herself with such class. So little would it would be hard pressed to believe, right? That like
somebody got an issue with her.
Right, exactly. It would be, and so Brandy's gotten a lot of slack over the years for her response and reaction to Monica when she's brought up in like interviews and things like that, because Monica only has the nicest things to say about Brandy, whereas Brandy does not have anything nice to say about Monica.
Right.
So recently though, Dallas Austin, famous producer, veteran producer, produced a bunch of hits back in the 90s, also in the 2000s, still now, but he's had a really long career and he still looks really good. But basically he witnessed Monica punch Brandy in the face, or slap or punch her in the face before the 1998 VMA's performance.
I feel like I'd rather get punched in the face than slapped.
Okay.
All right.
That's
like if I have to get hit in the face, I feel like I would take a slap before I take a punch before I take a slap. Because a slap is just like, man, you ain't shit. I'm gonna smack the shit out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
you're my son.
Yeah, like a punch is like, oh, you trying to fight. A slap is like, you get slapped, like just don't do nothing because you a bitch. Like you just officially like just don't do nothing. Just take the slap, and I don't know, like. Yeah.
And here's what Austin said. According to the source, he said Monica was very ghetto when it came down to it. He goes on to say that Monica was at a point where she was discovering who she was, and they were very young when this came out.
A boxer. That's.
He said if you didn't have gold teeth, she didn't like you. Austin claims she was really hood in Atlanta. So I guess Brandy was that cookie cutter.
Yeah, she was the girl next door. Like she was Moesha. Like
exactly. So I'm sure how egos flare, especially when you're young.
Right.
And
of course.
Pit you. And that's the thing with women in the industry. They pit them against each other. And a lot of times it's the labels, it's the men. It's like in their ears telling them like this person said this about you. Yeah. Right. Like when you think of a lot of like Nicki Minaj's beefs.
Oh my gosh.
And even with Cardi, with Remy, whoever. Like
I don't even any of her beefs. I don't think the person she's beefing with actually came out and said anything against her.
I don't think so either.
Like it's all he say, she say, and social media stuff
and ego. But when your whole life is celebrity,
exactly.
Your ego is your life, right? So then
your value is legit what everyone else thinks about you. Like, so that is your value.
I can't knock her. I can't knock all those people for being reactive, because I don't know what the hell I would do if millions of people were basically like, think about like when you're at school and somebody's like, oh, she trying to fight you. And remember like back in high school, like, yo, she said she want to fight you. I couldn't back down. What the fuck I'm gonna do? Like if she said she was trying to fight me then I'm gonna have to fight her.
You be in that shit like, I'm really about to fight for no reason.
For
like,
no reason, but I got to because
exactly.
she called me out. So
right,
like,
exactly,
you know,
yeah.
And I feel like a lot
Boy,
of
I don't think boys do that, but yeah.
But women, you know, yes,
boys
women
don't do
definitely
that.
do that. And I feel like a lot of these celebrities, you know, they're it's not like they have any like grooming or whatever. Like they come from like their circumstances and thrusted into spotlight, and then all of a sudden they all of them automatically have to just change their habits and behaviors. Like that takes time. So that was an interesting revelation, though.
Yeah, man. Well, now we see why. You know,
now we see why.
You punched me in the face in 1998. I will never like you.
Ben said that. We were talking about it yesterday. He said that he will hold a grudge forever, but he's also a Scorpio, so.
Well, there you go.
I think I could get over
what
it.
Did Cardi had a bar in one of her songs, her early songs. She said, if a bitch beef with me, we gonna beef forever. Okay? So Brandy is practicing.
I don't want to have a stroke, so I'm gonna let it go.
Yes. All right. You want to take this one?
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on xenophobia.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about something that's been trending right now on Twitter and all across the news. Honestly, probably not as much as it should be. But basically, in South Africa, there's been a lot of xenophobic attacks against Nigerians. And if you don't know, I am Nigerian. A proud Nigerian. So
very
this
proud,
is
very,
very, very sad. Basically, currently they have a leader in power. And I don't know his name. Let me see. I don't know his name, but I'm gonna find it. But basically, he has been, So basically, the leader currently in power is kind of like a Donald Trump type, right? But his fixation is on Nigerians, like basically trying to convince these South Africans who are poor, who've been marginalized since since apartheid, right? Since white people have colonized South Africa, that your issues, your biggest problems, right? The biggest problem you face, your biggest enemy are Nigerian immigrants. And it's, when you think about it, this is a sentiment that's echoed all across the country in different ways, right? In America or in the US, we have, the Mexicans are your problems. And that's what they say to white people. This is the reason why you don't have jobs, as opposed to hypercapitalism. Right. And rich white people hoarding wealth from everybody. Yeah. And like that, and
not to mention machines replacing a lot of the laboring jobs.
The industrialization, literally the fabric of hypercapitalism.
Andrew Yang, 2020.
So so basically there's been like some really like angry mobs in South Africa, like burning like Nigerian shops, vehicles, property. They even they say five people were killed and 189 people allegedly involved in the violence have been arrested, but many foreign-owned stores were targeted in the violence. So and this is according to CNN, and basically, like, there was a video, there was like one image that stood out where a Nigerian man was burned alive, you know, and
which is one of the worst ways
things
to
that
die.
You can do.
Like that, and I think what they said, that and drowning is probably like one of the Jesus.
Yeah, so it's just disgusting. Nigerian Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said it was deeply disturbing that reports that some Nigerians were attacking South African companies where Nigerian investors own significant stakes and employ mostly Nigerians. Mohammed described it as a classic case of cutting off your nose despite your face. He added that President Buhari had dispatched a special envoy to convey his concerns to the South African President, Cyril Ramaphosa. Nigeria has pulled out of the ongoing World Economic Forum in Cape Town and also plans to recall its ambassador to South Africa in protest against the attacks. The country's foreign minister told reports on Wednesday. While Nigerian stars Burna Boy and Tiwa Savage have also weighed in with similar boycotts. So basically, like, they planned on performing. There was like some shows lined up in South Africa. I think that like they always do a show in Johannesburg for Afropunk. And I'm pretty sure Burna Boy was headlining this year, but he's pulled out and he had like a lot of strong words. Yeah. And you guys can go check that out.
And that's what's up, man. Because a lot of times, like, especially when it comes to like artists and stuff like that, they will pick the bag over like their people. Not that's not really a characteristic that I see from like Nigerians because just from what I see, just from being around you in the time that I've been, like, y'all are very like supportive to one another. Like just about every Nigerian guest that you've asked to pull up, barring something like crazy, like a crazy opportunity that's come their way.
Beyonce, shout out to Papi Ojo.
Yeah, Like they've been here, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And without me having to like talk to them or anything like that. So that's a big move by him, because that bag, especially with the fame that the level that he's at now, Burna Boy right now, like he is like hot right now. He is the guy right now.
Yep.
And for him to turn that down, just in support of his people, that shows that he has like a backbone. That shows like he really values his morals. Like that's a very solid move, by Burna Boy.
Yeah, and and it's you gotta be grateful for that, because definitely you see a lot of celebrities definitely prioritize the bag that they don't need over the cause. And I think that it's nice to see, some people taking steps in the right direction as far as, putting their money where their mouth is, because he doesn't need that, whatever, let's say $100,000 that they probably pay him.
Yeah, like
sure, it would be nice to have, and I'm sure that could, get you some extra investments, car or whatever, but you don't need it. Yeah, and not the expense of your people.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
So, all right.
I guess just survive. I'm trying to see what we press for time. You want to jump into? Let's do that for fun. The dating.
Yep.
Okay. So some numbers came out. The national average. What the cost of a date?
Yes. So what were some of the average numbers across the different states?
All right. So
because I want to know what's going on in New York.
I'm gonna do the tri-state.
What can I expect in New York City if I want to go on a date? How much money?
All right, so in Connecticut,
how much money he gonna spend?
So I'm gonna do the tri-state, right? Because in New York, you might mess with a John from Connecticut. You know what I'm saying?
Really? That's your lifestyle.
Not me. The average cost of a date in Connecticut is $230, and that's only the fourth highest.
Well, yeah, Connecticut, they got some real rich people over there. So
we got in. Let me see. Let me go down to New York.
What's going on in Atlanta? I might move over there.
You want to see Georgia? They don't have Atlanta specifically, but they got Georgia. The average cost of a date in Georgia is $121.
All right.
That's not bad, because that's actually around that number is my limit for dates.
That's actually surprisingly high that you said for you.
Because
considering your resourcefulness.
Well, I know I'm not gonna be buying drinks and tell her she can't. So I know I factor in both our drinks. We're gonna have a large order of fries and split that motherfucker. But you know what I'm saying? Like we gonna be able to drink. But all right, so New Jersey, which is the second highest, the average cost of a date $259.
Damn. Well, because a lot of times in New Jersey they have to cross the bridge and they have to pay the toll.
Yeah, I know all about that.
I'm sure that factors into
it. And New York, winner chicken dinner. We came in at the highest.
Oh well.
The average cost of a date in New York.
How much?
$297.27.
I've seen what you've done for others, Lord. I ain't never seen a number like that.
And you know what the cool thing with this article is that they give cheap date ideas underneath. So a date idea in New York, which is something I have done, even though I can't ride bikes for shit, is rent a bike for about $12 and ride around Central Park.
Yeah.
I've done that. I almost died, but I did it.
You
know what I'm saying?
To save money.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh. But you better buy her some Chipotle after.
Chipotle? That's a little too rich for my blood, baby. Come on now. 2 bros, baby. $1 slice. Huh?
No, some Chipotle.
2 slices. We can split the can of Pepsi. Come on now.
A $12 bowl. You won't die.
Yo, Poppy, let me get a Pepsi and 2 cups. You feel me?
Oh my God. But you're going to sit there lining up to go throw your money at Jordan.
Okay, first of all, I only got 1 pair of Jordans.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. But anywho.
So, all right. So my thing is, I ain't never seen a number like that. But
who they asking, right?
I understand where the number's coming from. So I had a roommate at one point who was a sugar baby, and so she would get she would go out on dates, basically girlfriend experience type stuff with older men. She was really young, so older men for her in their early 40s, and these men would just pay her so that she can have fun. One time her friend was coming into town. He was like, I see that you really like when your friend comes over. Here's $600. Go see a Broadway play and take your friend. This is the life that people are living that I haven't tapped into. So I can understand where this number is coming from.
Here you are working like a sucker. You out here. You got a job?
Yo, I told my mom.
Now.
I was talking to my mom like when she was here a few weeks ago. I was telling her, I was like, you really sat here and you dead ass like try to make me virtuous and shit when I could have just been a hoe. I said all the hoes are winning.
These hoes is really winning.
And
man.
you sat there and you yelled at me and try to make me this fucking person that is not a hoe. And
yeah, talking about men gonna respect you.
You know, and I'm waiting.
Poppycock.
I'm waiting. Right? So my parents raised me terribly wrong.
Terribly.
But if you are young and you are listening to this, you can change. There's no need to go down my path.
Right, exactly.
You too can also be enjoying $300 dates.
$300.
But honestly, I don't even. I know dudes who spent like a bag like that on women. Right, they spend a bag like that just to like impress girls, and that shit is such a turnoff. I really don't like that, especially if I don't know you. If I know you and really know each other, and I really like fuck with you, and like we're in a good situation, then like yeah, sure, you can like increase where you're coming from. But if you just spend a whole bag like that just to impress me or to any woman, like they're gonna take advantage of you. And then you see these dudes like sitting there like, I don't know, I fuck these hoes, like, spending money on these hoes, and they don't do nothing. It's like, well, I mean, you tried it. You did the most, and you didn't have to do that.
I've been blessed. One of the few talents that I've been blessed with is the gift of gab. Okay, so I use that to my advantage. All right, because I know at the end of the day, it is about the experience, right? You could like, and I'm not saying like don't ever go on these fancy, expensive dates. You could do that from time to time. That's nice. You dress up, the girl dress up. Yeah, go out somewhere nice. I'm not saying to do these cheap dates. Like that's the only way that you and your girl go out, or you and the girl that you're dating go out. Like that's not what I'm saying by any means. Okay, but if it's like especially if you're dating, it's just not smart for you to spend $300 every time you're taking somebody out.
It's not.
Because really chances are sometimes. Like, how often does a person get a second date?
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? So you might drop $300 and they might not even get a second. You might not even want to go out with that person again. Or they might not want to go out with you again. So, like, it doesn't make sense to do that, like, just to spend that much money. I'm glad that this article is giving cheap date ideas with the cost of everything like that. But it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, it's the thoughtfulness that counts. And honestly, like, as long as it's real thought and consideration and not just like a cheap date and it was so obvious that it was just you just slapped it together just to be cheap and grimy, like then like, you know, you can really evaluate like, okay, is the person for me?
Yeah, y'all can see if you put thought into it.
This is the 21st century. Like, first of all, ain't nobody really got money like that like anymore. First of all, that's just the way it costs. Rent, everything is set up, health insurance, everybody's finna die off of these rich white people just taking and taking and taking. So like we're never gonna really like, so I'm not out to like kill anybody's pockets, but put some thought, put a little, you know, at least let's start with $50, right? Like, let's start with $50.
Hey, look,
you know, what can you do? How can you make $50 stretch? Because I think that's a reason.
Come holler at me, I'll show you.
You know,
all right?
Like,
$50? What?
We can do that, and you can have a wonderful, fruitful experience with $50.
You really could.
So.
All right, let's jump into our don't at me's. We don't have time for all 5.
So we can choose. Okay, can I just start with let me just address these 2 girls real quick.
All right, and then I'm gonna do my don't at me, and then we'll move on. Yeah.
All right, so basically Scarlett Johansson, man, she just keeps on keeping on. This beautiful white woman has struck again. She has taken her privilege.
She is beautiful. I will give her that.
I gotta give her that. But she is problematic as fuck. Like all she does is take roles, like roles as an Asian woman, roles as she's taking roles as every like ethnicity group. People are building roles around this woman. Like, it doesn't matter how old she gets, like they love her face. They love her as an actress. So she will always have work. But she constantly decides to take on roles where she's selected to play a minority. But this time, that's not what she's in the news for. This time, she's in the news for defending Woody freaking Allen. Woody Allen, if you don't know, is the long-term director. Like, he's a legend in his own right as far as his contributions to Hollywood. But he is allegedly and widely known as a rapist and a
statutory rapist. There's a difference between, you know what I'm
I know, because this is worse. So
because he ain't pin nobody down his little punk ass. He ain't pin nobody down and take the pussy. You know what I'm saying? He just manipulated a really young girl into giving it to him.
And so this is like, everyone knows in Hollywood. This is not even like conjecture. This is like ubiquitous. Is like, I guess everyone knows Bill Cosby by now, right? So like, everyone knows that this man does this allegedly. And yet Scarlett Johansson basically says, I think this is a quote from CNN, "I see Woody whenever I can, and I have a lot of conversations with him about it. I've been very direct with him, and he's been very direct with me. He maintains his innocence, and I believe him." So,
what exactly is his innocence? The birth certificate clearly states. No, didn't he adopt the little girl?
I believe that.
And then married her?
Yes. So, right. So
I'm innocent. I swear. I'm a white man, so I didn't do anything wrong.
That's all you need? Okay. Well, shit.
Okay.
So she's just adding to the list of problematic things that she does.
Jesus
but
Christ.
To be honest, it's not going to really affect her career. It's not going to affect anything
No,
about
it's
her.
not. We're going to, yeah.
You know, she's just, selective white feminist.
Yeah.
And just surprisingly, Dakota Fanning, actually, she's currently playing a Muslim woman.
That's worse than Keanu Reeves being the last samurai.
Oh, man.
Or was it Tom Cruise? One of them white dudes.
So
neither one of them got any business playing the last samurai, but go ahead.
No, not at all. According to USA Today, 25-year-old Dakota Fanning.
She is 25?
Why'd your face contort?
Well, she aged like the Olsen twins is what.
She don't look that bad.
No, she didn't age as bad as they did.
No, not as bad as they did, but
I ain't seen Dakota Fanning since Twilight.
Right, so I haven't seen her since a long time. So she
Nah,
doesn't.
I was dating a girl and she, you know what I'm saying, she liked the movies. I ain't watching for myself. More now. Well, Kevin over there start judging me.
So the movie she is slated to star in is called Sweetness in the Belly, and she's going to be playing a Muslim woman in Ethiopia. Wait, time out. I mean, I thought that this was like maybe like Yemen or something, or like Armenia where people are already white complected. But Ethiopia? Okay.
Yo.
Many took to Twitter to slam the former child star and the film for culturally insensitive casting. Quote unquote, so many talented Muslim actors out there and you cast Dakota Fanning? And one user wrote, to play an Ethiopian? I beg your pardon. I think that that's really all that we really need to touch on that, because I mean, that's crazy. That's bizarre. And I don't know why, like,
the Ethiopian thing adds a new wrinkle
that adds
to
like
it.
another layer to it, because it's like you don't have to do this. You have money.
Not at all.
You have opportunities. I know you're still sleeping off of that money. What was her famous movie that she was in?
She was in 13 going on 30.
What was her
no, that wasn't her.
No, what was her
Man on Fire.
But what was her like movie that
she
really
was in the Twilight series.
Yeah.
She was like the vampire governors
but
and stuff.
She came on the scene something, I forgot, I don't remember, but she doesn't need this job at all. So it's just crazy to me that these white people, despite the backlash that they get from taking on these roles, they continue to do them anyway. And here's the thing. People say, oh, well, like you're an actor. Look, I've acted before too. I've done it professionally myself. And in those roles, I've played different people. But I think that when you're taking a Hollywood role, and it's such a very big scale, especially considering the political climate of like what's actually happening to Muslim people in this country, like you should be a little bit more thoughtful about what you choose and what you don't choose, because they can offer you a role and you can choose to accept it or not. Like that's how it works in Hollywood, and no one is gonna sit there and blacklist you and say, oh well, we're not gonna cast Dakota Fanning for anything anymore because she didn't accept this role. She has enough like power in Hollywood to make those decisions and to call those shots. And so it's just disappointing once again, time and time again, when you see white people in power making decisions that just don't seem to be really sound, especially considering what's going on in the world. It's like, are you completely tone deaf? Like, why did you think that was appropriate?
I want to know before we move on. Like, I just want to know who was the director that wrote, like the writer, the director, the producer, whatever. They wrote the script, made the lead role for a Muslim person, an Ethiopian at that. And whose idea was it to say, you know what? You know who would be perfect for this role? Dakota Fanning.
Dakota.
Like, this makes no sense.
And Hollywood is extremely white. So like we need to that needs to end, first of all, because together white people seem to come into a room and make sound decisions. So I think that's part of the problem. Because I don't see but here's the thing. I feel like at this point they must be doing it purposefully. Like, because right now everybody knows about the movie, right? Yeah. I don't know how many people are going to go and support it, but now people know about it. I didn't know shit about this movie
and then coming to find you watch the movie and she found out she converted. And so it's like, it's not even there's no reason for the outrage that we're giving it.
She was in college and her boyfriend was Ethiopian and brought her back home because he couldn't find a black woman in the States who understood him.
Right, exactly.
She was the only one. Just like I'm still mad about that girl from Save the Last Dance. I'm like, you really came here and you took this man who's going to Georgetown from the hood. Like, what's going on?
I never seen the movie.
You never seen Save the Last Dance?
Does that look like some shit I would watch, Addy?
Actually, yeah. That was a bomb ass movie. Get out of here. Get out of here.
All right, we're gonna move. Like I said, the return of Don't At Me. It took a couple weeks off. I needed some inspiration. You know what I'm saying? But in lieu of the NFL season starting tonight, okay, I had a message for all you frauds out there. All of you that say that you root for two teams. Let me tell you, I'm gonna make this loud and clear for you. You cannot root for two teams. Yeah, Addy, take off your headphones for this.
Yeah.
You cannot root for two teams. It makes no sense. Do you know what it means to be a fan? That means you're a fan of one thing and you root for that one thing and you support that one thing and you are loyal to that one thing. So this football season, I don't want to hear I'm rooting for the Jets and the Giants. I'm rooting for the Colts and the Falcons. I'm rooting for the Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't want to hear it. One team, all right? If you're out there talking about, oh, I'm rooting for this team and that team, I have an AFC team, I have an NFC team, you're a fraud. And I want you to take this message personal. I hate every one of you frauds out there. I really do, all right? I hope you're offended by this. I said what I said. Now don't at me. People rooting for two teams. Like, goddamn, what the hell is wrong with these people? I want to root for the Jets and the Giants, and it's ridiculous. Anyway, we got Trey Love in the building, Love and Fashion LLC Entertainment Group in the building. Yo, they're going to be up next. Do not go anywhere. Stay locked in. You're listening to Ben Talks right here live on Radio Free Brooklyn. We'll be right back.